So hi everybody. Yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah. So today I've been talking a little bit about the process of the work that I do. Yeah. The harmonic relationship, the alignment of the planetary logos, the chakras, and how the influence of the avatar is both the galactical, cosmic avatar, and how it's a solar avatar, and it's a planetary avatar, and that there's a planetary logos, and and that the influence of Maitreya, the Christ, is the influence of a level of consciousness that humanity is willing to accept of the avatar. Now, whether or not humanity gets to that point and I'm able to be presented in that way, it's not up to me. It has nothing to do with me. Yeah, it has to do with Dharma or karma. Yeah, if it's Dharma, it's extremely appreciated. It's holy. It's eventful. It's very, very spiritual. Yeah. If it's karma, it's questionable. It's suppressed. It's depressed. Yeah. So what it depresses is the Dharma. Yeah. So when that goes on, there is no possible way for an introduction of Christ. Yeah, because it's the Christ spirit that creates the ability to be the protector of such a thing, such an energy that creates karma in people. Christ is supposed to be the protector. Yeah, so it's until that event takes place. Yeah, this world will be held by lunar lords that hold the relationship as much impurity around the avatar as possible to keep, because the avatar comes this way, yeah, comes from heaven down into a body and is then logoically manifested. Yeah, so here's a problem. Once that steps out into the human realm, yeah, then it's immediately hit by every bit of astral garbage there is on Earth. Yeah, because this doesn't come from here. That which is from up here, being an avatar, if this place isn't prepared for the avatar, yeah, it's going to throw him right in the toilet, throw him into a closet, yeah, beat him daily, yeah. That's what will happen to the avatar if he incarnates. That's what happened to me, yeah. So even though it's not seen, even though it's not an experience that you relate to, it is an experience that happens with the avatar trying to touch his feet, just his feet, to the ground. Yeah. So I got real problems with my feet. I'm going in for surgery. I've got one foot that's cricked over like that. Cannot touch the ground. Yeah. And it's been like this since I was born. Born with what they call polio. Yeah. Yeah. So there's this constant restrictive process that goes on that doesn't allow the avataric impression of the healing force to come back to the avatar, which allows the avatar to touch the ground. Yeah, because that means that there's offering. Yeah, the ground is pure. Yeah, the sanctuary that he goes to sleep in is pure. Yeah, the food that he gets is pure. Yeah. And so everything that is in that way, and it's not like a fanatical thing, it just is what it is. But if it isn't that way, yeah, then it directly affects the physical, emotional, and mental bodies that are found in the avatar to be that which is impure that's given to the avatar. Yeah? So the avatar can't go outside of that. It's a law. Yeah? Yeah. So the influence of the avatar is an influence of being able to radiate the 7 rays into an ashramic activity into humanity. Yeah? And no one really knows that that's what happens, because the avatar is the only teacher there is. But you have to resonate your 7 rays to the avatar's 7 rays. Yeah? Or you're not a student. Yeah? So as me, I absolutely require the 7 rays to be completely working and in a soulful state, yeah, before I can teach. And all I can do is talk about me coming. And I've been doing that since my beginning of teaching. Yeah. And it's not a process of the actual me being able to step out, walk into the world, and the veil is gone. Yeah. Because if the veil's gone, then the light is plentiful. Yeah. And I'm abundant in that light and not affected by having to take on all the impurities you can't see that are forced onto me because of a lack of control in the human environment. Yeah. And that means drilling, driving gas cars, decisions that people make. Yeah. Those things got to really up themselves, yeah, for my externalization. Yeah. It's about the coming of Christ. You know, well, what if I've been here for 67 years? That kind of, what's up about that? Yeah, he's here, but he's not able to come forth. Yeah, because there's too much interactive, ceremonial reaction, action surrounding him. Yeah, and it doesn't matter where I go. I can go to Tibet, same thing will happen. I can go anywhere. It is a planetary representation of karma to dharma. Yeah, you know. So I build this monastery. I do this healing. You know, I do the teaching. I do the ceremonies. I do the bowls and bells and all that stuff. Yeah, you know, because I'm helping you resonate and be purified. Yeah. So as that goes on, that makes it possible for me to externalize. Yeah, and it will. It'll happen. But it's really a process, yeah. So there's very little you find in India or in any other place that talks about me, about my coming, anything in relationship to what I say, you know. Sana Kumara, you know, Buddha Maitreya, Kalki Maitreya, Avatar Maitreya, all those kind of things that I talk about aren't usually mentioned, yeah. But there is masters that do talk about it. And a lot of people don't look for it. But the number one master of Babaji is very prolific and in going out and telling everybody about the coming of Maitreya. Because he met Babaji. And Babaji put him on the road and told him, you got to learn English, you got to be really clear that you're going to be working with America, that your focus is the fact that Maitreya is going to America. And he'll be in Northern America, the West Coast, yeah, and he'll be doing that in order to heal the planet from volcanic activity and the eruptions of the destruction of this entire planet. And he's here only for that, yeah. Not as a savior, but as a savior. Yeah, not the kind of savior you're thinking of, but the kind who's going to save you. And has been saving you all along. Ever since I stepped on this earth, I've been taking up everything. Yeah? So there is one master that talks about me. Yeah? So I'm going to show you a video of him. Yeah? And this is him.
This appears to be a sorry state from our limited thinking and material point of view, but from the higher spiritual state, it is just a means to balance the three gunas of sattva, luminosity, rajo activity, and tamo inertia. These three qualities which pervade in the universe, whether through hugging one another or through war or through a world war-like situation, this balance in the world has to come. Then descending in millions of bodies will be the power of the great avatar called the Kalki avatar, who is known as the Kalki Maitreya, who was taught by the great Rishi Parashar and Parashuram. Kalki Maitreya will come 2012 and will carry on his work and teach on the western border of the United States of America, all along the western coast. Because of certain upheavals, certain changes to be made from the tectonic plates, geographically, emotionally, mentally. All negativity and excess of inertia will be eliminated, and the balance of sattva, raja and tama will be there, but sattva guna will predominate, and righteousness and truth, humanity shall be established, the sixth root race. If you want to know, Christ is the Maitreya, the Kalki Maitreya is the second advent. He is the Christ. He is the fifth secret Buddha. So he will be the world teacher to succeed the Christ, who is called the Kalki Maitreya. Now the next Manu will take over the changing of guards, okay, and the changing of the baton, the very handing over of charge. You see, when an old person leaves and a new person takes over, no matter how efficient, even in camps you see when they leave, there's a lot of discrepancies, a lot of loopholes which happen. It takes time to learn, it takes time to change the guard. So it will take 600 years, or specifically 300 years. This change and handing over has already started 300 years ago, and it is now at 2012 where the baton will be handed over to the... Our earth has 7 bodies. Om Om Bhavam Swaham Maham Janam Tapam Satyam. So in all the 7 globes and all the 7 lokas, the change will happen. There are 7 planets. Each planet is divided into 7 root races. Each of them is divided into 7 sub-races. It will happen all on the septenary plane. That's why the Kalki avatar in a mystic sense is called the Sapta Sapti, not 7-Eleven. 7 by 7. So it's called 7 by 7, 49. Sapta Sapti. Lunch doesn't matter, dinner doesn't matter. It's only the soul-to-soul contact that matters. It's only a victory of the light over the darkness that matters. And that's what we are working to in the Here Now Truth Alive. The work has already started. Wake up. What are you talking? As I'm talking, I'm infusing you with the fire. I'm infusing your spine with a sword of knowledge. It's being done in the Here Now, right now. You're being prepared. The coming of the second advent is being prepared through here. So 1/2 of the globe is being prepared. The time has come. We have to wake up. And this is the 2012, the specific work on the spiritual plane is the handing over the baton of the world teacher Krishna Maitreya to Yoga Avatar Lahiri Mahasaya. And so the good work will carry on. This whole wheel of the world turns by the power of sacrifice, goodwill and constancy. That's why we want your soldiers to be steady and constant. Don't waver. Don't waver. Don't be the hurricane. Be the eye of the hurricane. Steady. It's still, not a flame will flicker.
So his lineage is that his process is that he met Babaji. Yeah, he went to the Himalayas. He traveled up through the Himalayas. He did the whole entire track and made it to Babaji. Yeah, and not in the Nepal area at the cave that everybody knows about, but a totally different, distant area. Yeah, and in his process, yeah, it brought him a great deal of awakening. He was only 23 years old. Yeah, but it settled him in, to where he could get married, he could become a master, and he could awaken to Christ on earth. He didn't have to become a guru like all the fake gurus or anything like that. That was completely out of his logical mind. Yeah, that's what the logical mind would bring up. Oh, I must be this, I must be that, I must do this because I have to do that, But instead, he became a disciple to Babaji. So he was in transmission. That's all he had to do. All he had to do was transmit the teachings that Babaji can give to him from on really high, that isn't given to other people. Yeah. And he began receiving. So this is what he teaches. He teaches what I teach, but I teach it in a very different way. Yeah. But he teaches it which is very rare. Yeah? So his process is that he goes all the way back to Lahiri, which is one of the original students of Babaji, and that started in 1861. Yeah? That's only 90 years before my birth. So that's only 1.5 generations before I incarnate, which means that whole cycle was all about the preparation of my incarnation, Babaji. So everything, including him, is a small group of people that were given the opportunity to know of my existence and call me Babaji, the Yogi Christ. And then I'd work out the rest. And the last disciple, which goes all the way to Yogananda, and this is a lineage direct disciple of the same level of Yogananda as this guy. And he's given the teachings of the coming of Kalki Maitreya, but he's also given the teachings of saying that Kalki Maitreya is also Sanakumara, and Planetary Logos, and Babaji. So the whole influence of everything that helps to express the understanding of my three vehicles, that's in a state of separation. And even if a person is a student, they're only a student of one of my vehicles. And almost in every case, it's my physical vehicle. And that's mind. They just want to hear what I have to say, and try and carry out what I have to say. But that doesn't, in where I come from, there has to be a revelation of understanding that comes with the awareness with what I'm saying. Or it takes literal, and then all of a sudden it becomes physical. And it's an interpretation, it's not an understanding. So whether it comes Jesus, or whether it comes Krishna, or whoever my avatar incarnation is, I'm always in a place of interpretation. So that changes how my physical vehicle makes manifest. Because I work through three vehicles, and in a monadic way, I'm all monadic. So for me to express on the physical plane, I can only do it on the etheric plane. So I put out etheric weavers. And I name them their divine names, which are my names. A Deva builder, Mahadeva. Christ principle, Christ. Adam's earth, Adam. Every single one of the forms is named in order for you to better understand the manifestation of Metatron. How all this comes into a physical form, which is what I have to manifest in this life. No one understands what Maitreya is supposed to manifest, or if Babaji was to incarnate, what would he do if he was to have physical incarnation out in the open? What level of consciousness would he make available? And the thing is that I can't do it in the way that people think. I use all three vehicles simultaneously. I can't change it. I work with all 7 chakras simultaneously. Not one or the other. It just doesn't work like that in me. And that's the difference between me and anything else. So I represent the number 7. And that represents a certain sacred process of influence that allows us to have a hierarchy and saints and a manifestation of the soul. It comes in numbers, in sequence of numbers. People are emanations of God, not personalities. And they come through my vehicle. And that vehicle is 7 chakras, and I'm not really a physical body. I'm a harmonic, resonating manifestation of a principle, a Christ principle. So it's really that manifestation that is the teachings of Maitreya, and that's what this guy is trying to move humanity with, because he helps Kundalini, and things like that. But when it comes to me, that's not what it's about. When it comes to me, what it's about is the fact that I do planetary healing. And it's difficult because people separate me as Jesus the Christ or some other avataric aspect or a master aspect or certain interpretation of what it is I am. Because I'm here, I'm physical, I'm talking, yeah? And things are written about me, yeah? Even the things I say are prophetically written, yeah? Without ever even meeting me, yeah? Little Buddha, yeah? Manifested because I incarnated. And it's all about a ripple effect of the truth manifested in a person that brings the planets back into order and brings the cosmos back into order. Yeah? It's the cosmic logos, the solar logos, and the planetary logos. Yeah? So the teaching is harmonics. It's bringing everything back into order rather than having any kind of astral crap in the human plane, yeah, or some galactical crap in the cosmic plane, yeah, or some kind of destructive solar force going on in the solar plane due to the separation of rays and chakras and all the planets and everything I just talked about. Just being separate, you're just going to be molten lava rolling through space. Yeah, that's it. Chaos. Constant chaos. Energy just burning. Yeah, nothing functional whatsoever. Nothing carrying life. It takes the tree of life to manifest life and put things into order. Yeah? And that's sparked by consciousness, by mind, higher mind that's over intellect. Yeah? And it brings everything into an evolutionary cycle that's beyond what's known as the ring past knot. Yeah? Because the ring past knot is the fact that there is a limitation in time and space and matter and all the things that we think that exist. We're stuck right to that point. We jump, we only go so high. We can't fly. Yeah? Yeah? We drop something, we can't make it levitate. Yeah? What if we could? Well, we could only do that if we actually had no harm whatsoever in us. And we were synchronistic with Dharma. And it was the right thing to do. And it's not just you could do it, but it has a purpose behind its principle. Like levitation may bring us to the study of leviton that allows us to fly without using fuel. And it has nothing to do with a person being able to lift their butt off the ground and go fly around. But it has to do with that element that allowed a person to do that. That could be found if you find a person who could do that. Yeah? Does that make sense? So we're going to move through sciences like that, and it's not going to be like special people that have abilities. Yeah? But we're going to find that there are certain sciences that are moving our consciousness that allows us to do and see things that pass through this ring past knot. Because it's the ring past knot that keeps us in karma and personality and lower mind. Yeah? We have to have all of our chakras working. Yeah? And it's this one here is where the ring past knot's at. And if your will's not with God's, you got yourself stuck at the ring past knot. And you don't know God exists. You don't know where you go when you die. Yeah? You die, and when you do die, guess what? You pass through the ring past knot, and you don't worry anymore. Yeah? Wouldn't you love to have that? Yeah? And that's what this is about. Yeah? It's about bringing a harmonic relationship of the 7 chakras onto the earth so that we have a planetary logos that allows us to bring a ring past knot into a dissolved state so that it turns into infinity rather than just something that we're seeing as a limitation, pulling things together, things like that. But it becomes infinity as it rings out like that. 2 circles come together. It becomes a whole living other reality in life. Yeah? But you got to see it through the consciousness of higher mind. Does that make sense? Yeah? Everything has to be seen. Yeah? It has to be sensed and seen. It can't be thought because you can make up anything. You can imagine anything. Yeah? So that's what this work is for, is to create a harmonic connection so that the 7 rays that are in people and children, animals, every single ray that's in every single mineral, every single thing, every single cosmic event that's going to take place, and every single solar thing that makes us divine in itself is all based on these chakras. Because it's all created by God's chakras. So we, as a human race, and everything else, is in alignment to that. That's what everything's doing. So we can't change it. I'm just here to kind of be a conduit to hold it together as it's coming through. So we don't have an apocalypse. So it doesn't hit us with enormous amounts of evil coming forth, and no one's here to exercise it. Does that make sense? Because when the bombs were coming, nuclear war was happening, and the highest level of war was taking place on Earth, I put my feet in Tillamook, and that's where they were doing the testing. That was the first Area 51. Study it. It's true. The first Area 51 was Tillamook, They even have a museum for it. Isn't that a trip? All aviation, history of aviation, all kinds of stuff in technology, all based on those backwoods kind of thing. So there's a whole process of change that is in through vibrational healing and through chakric alignment, which isn't about student do these yogas. Like this guy teaches do kundalini, do these breaths, do these things. I don't teach any of that. Because it's actually more about the fact that this could all work through transmission. I can overshadow you. I can walk you through your initiations, and you could be blessed just by living without changing an aspect other than the fact that you want to change aspects of yourself, and you do, but you're going to have to give moi some credit. Does that make sense? It's going to keep coming. You're still going to get blessed, whether you're Jewish or Muslim, you're a hateful, satanic person, you're sitting in a prison and you just killed someone, I'll still come to your side. I'll still wake you up in your dreams. So just watch the news and things like that. And you'll see this is exactly how I work. So it's through the invocation, evocation, that this becomes a solid field of energy. That's how my physical body becomes my monadic connection, and it's radiating out, because I can do this in a sequence. And then it's supported by humanity, so they build me a studio, build me a pyramid, build me an ashram. Got a guy out there, talking out of India, making all kinds of sense, talking about me. Other people building pyramids in India. So there's an enormous externalization and a quickening taking place. And that manifestation of change is directly. And so it affects the change of, imagine like, we all know that animals freak out when an earthquake is coming up. Well, we're not stupid. There's got to be something in us that drives us to go totally nuts, because we can't do anything. Can't do anything. What if there was a great big asteroid thing that was coming our way, 35 years ago? And for some strange reason, it missed us. And it's just like, what? That's kind of strange. That doesn't fit. And what if many things like that has happened? And it's just, since it didn't happen, since you never were told about it, you have no idea. How many times did Russia almost flip the switch to send nuclear bombs over here, and did the same thing in America, ready to flip a switch and send nuclear bombs over there? But yet it never happened. How many times did nuclear bombs inside the ground actually start to go off and ready to shoot out, 30 of them, ready to shoot off and explode? It happened in America, and it stopped in the very second it needed to stop. Or it would have exploded so big you can't imagine it. So many things have gone on. So many gurus did not manifest. So many plans did not come forth. So many people incarnated in bodies they did not intend to incarnate in. Yeah? All kinds of things changed because the wheel of Dharma got real powerful in 1950. Yeah? But so did earthquakes. Yeah? And one of the largest earthquakes in the history of the 20th century hit Tibet just as I was leaving Tibet. Yeah? And it started really coming through Tibet. And this has been, for 50,000 years, this has been going on. Because Tibet is right at a ring of fire where the crust splits because there's so much pressure coming from the European side of this great big continental plate that's pushing one way, and the Asian plate is pushing another way. The Asian plate is just sitting there as the European plate pushes. So it's going under, and up comes the Himalayas. Yeah? And out of that comes 4 different breaks in the crust of our Earth because of so much pressure, because it started allowing, this going under like that really slows down those plates from moving around like they would normally 2 to 3 inches a year. Yeah, it's like barely going at all, then massive explosion. Explosion so big, it created 4 great big fissures in the Earth crust, which is now existing. And now we have a larger, massive earthquake area for this to break through, because they're going in different directions. Usually the plate is like this, and the other plate's right up against it, so they just kind of go like that. Yeah? They're not really pushing against each other. They're pushing like this. But this completely changed everything, and that pushed an enormous amount of power into the earth. And that is, to me, that's Kundalini. Yeah? All energy is electrical. All energy is magnetically conductive. It has an enormous force to it, and it has a principle behind it. Yeah? Mountains come out of the ocean goes down, plants come up, animals grow, we have earth. Yeah? So all these things that seem to be in these days destructive, how do we control or figure out earthquakes? The fact is that our earth has been manifested through this process, this aggravating process. Yeah? And its structure today is that we become more consciously aware of these sensitive qualities in ourselves. Instead of us feeling disaster, yeah, we're getting more and more of a loving quality that's coming through me and the hierarchy. Yeah? So that's influencing humanity from having, even though they have earthquakes coming, ready to go, California's ready to split, all this stuff, but it's not causing the same psychic structure inside of people that would cause them to turn to war. Yeah? In India, it's called tamas. There's different energies that makes up a person's attitude. Yeah? A fiery attitude, a watery attitude, an airy attitude. Yeah? These all come from Earth. They're elements. They're the very first starting aspects of the elements. And those are the parts that I'm controlling. That's it. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah? That's what planetary logos does. That's what, as Buddha Maitreya, even though I'm thought of as Jesus Christ, guy on the cross, or an avatar Krishna, the reality is that I'm the planetary logos. Yeah? And I'm responsible for this planet and every living soul on it. And not just to keep you safe as the protector, but as the one that moves you into an evolutionary next kingdom. Because our 7 chakras break the bonds of us not having anything to do with the influence of this earth and the way things grow and how things manifest and how things are. Yeah? Whether we're growing corn or what we're doing, all discernment and discrimination takes place during the first 2 initiations. Yeah? So everything, including no longer war, no longer football, no longer this, all the decisions get made in just those 2 initiations. Then we've got all the rest of these initiations after that. Yeah? So my thing is that I have to overshadow all of humanity without them ever becoming a disciple. Does that make sense? They're not going to become a first-degree initiate. They're not going to become a second-degree initiate. They're not going to work their ass off to get all the way up to the third and the fourth and the fifth. Yeah, because the earth is constantly in a state of chaos. Whether it be war or destruction or whatever goes on, it keeps the rents going too much inside of humanity to allow them to move forward like that. Yeah? So through my incarnation and my telepathy, my influence is that I overshadow humanity because I understand that humanity is an emanation and that we don't really exist in the way that we think. And that's the way of seeing it when we get past the ring past not. That's the way you see it after you die and you come back. You'll see it my way. Yeah? Does that make sense? All right, so now we'll do meditation. Invocation, evocation, yay. I was watching a few of the videos of this guy, this yogi, since he was young, since he was like in his 30s, and saw him getting married and, many of his students and his life, his teachings and things like that. And the more and more, it got closer to around 2005, 2006, 2007. It was so heavy on him, he almost died. He was dying. You could see it in his face. You could see it in his body. By the time he got to around 2009, 2010, he was weighing around 330, 340 pounds. And he's a slender guy. Yeah? And he puffed within a year to that size, which is exactly what happened to me. Yeah, but to me, it happened in a longer period of time. But the influence of what he was taking on was renting him so much that you could see it through the videos. Just, oh, wow, this guy's really taking it on, yeah. But now, his most recent videos, now that 2012 has passed, yeah, and he's reassured that it's not doom and gloom, yeah, and that and there's so much in the news of Nepal and everything of my existence and externalization. So he's pretty well aware of, this thing just definitely doesn't work today. He's pretty well aware of my existence. So that's healing him, yeah? So since 2012, he's completely become regenerated. Everything about him, his hair, his face, his body, his way he talks, and he even talks about it. That he's not the person he was. He thinks he basically died and came back as the person now he's talking about. And I've experienced that several times in this life. He's not alone in that. This thing just keeps coming off. I don't know what the thing is. I don't know what's going to happen while I'm trying to ohm. But let's go ahead. Okay. All right. Just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Meditation on the path of the inner light. Sit erect. Be relaxed. Be in a position of physical comfort. Withdraw your consciousness inward in slow, successive stages, using your imagination. Your imagination is a creative activity, producing definite inner changes. You can depend on this, for it is one of the forces of influencing substance itself. Withdraw your consciousness from the physical brain. After you have centered it deeply in the brain, withdraw it and place it to the astral body. From the astral body to the mind. Now recognize yourself as being an integrated personality. From the integrated personality to the soul. Focus upon seeing a thread of golden light which connects these three bodies. The body of your physical brain, your astral body, and back to the mind. Keeping your consciousness steadily in the head at the center between the eyebrows, the ajna center. This thread, dual in nature, like two golden cables intertwined, passing from the heart and head, and connects you as a personality with the soul. When you have carried it upwards and seen it aligning and relating all three aspects of the personality, then pause in your meditation and quietly, silently realize that you are now face to face with your own soul and standing before the angel of the presence, who is yourself. You, the personal self, and the angel, the divine self, are one essential reality, manifesting through three aspects. You are therefore a reflection of the Trinity of Deity. There is in reality no separation or duality, no I or thou, but simply God in manifestation, whose nature is light. Then say to yourself, having pervaded this world of the little manifested self with one fraction of myself, I remain greater, wider, and overshadowing all my daily living. Focus upon this in thought for 5 minutes. Then say, I, the manifesting self,
through the magical power of my nature, revitalize, redeem, reabsorb this fraction dwelling in the body. Focus upon this in mind for 5 minutes. Then carry the life and light of the angel of the presence back again consciously into the body, and know it to be there, illuminating your mind, rendering positive quiescence of your astral nature, and invigorating and stimulating your physical body. Do this slowly, using your will. Then send forth the incoming light and love in strength and blessings to all your brothers and sisters, to all your immediate family and environment whom you seek to aid, to all distressed humanity. Then say aloud, may the energy of the Divine Self inspire and the light of the soul direct. May I be led from darkness to light, from the unreal to the real, from death to immortality. as there are in the 1,000 billion worlds. So many times I make reverent salutations to all the Buddhas of the three eras, to the Dharma, and to the excellent community. I pay homage to all the shrines in all the places in which the bodhisattvas have been. I make profound obeisance to the teachers and to those whom respectful salutation is due. This very day, I go for refuge. To the powerful protectors, whose purpose it is to guard the universe, the mighty conquerors who overcome suffering everywhere. Wholeheartedly also I take my refuge in the Dharma, which they have ascertained, which is the abode of security against the rounds of rebirth. Likewise, in the host of the bodhisattvas, I take my refuge. To the Buddha, for refuge I go. To the Dharma, for refuge I go. To the Sangha, for refuge I go. To the Buddha, for refuge I go. To the Dharma, for refuge I go. To the Sangha, for refuge I go. To the Buddha, for refuge I go. To the Dharma, for refuge I go. To the Sangha, for refuge I go. Teachings of the past, to all the truth teachings yet to be, to all the truth teachings that are now, my worship flows unceasingly. No other refuge than the truth. Refuge supreme is there for me. By the virtue of this truth, may grace abound and victory. All my life I go for refuge to brotherhood. Brotherhoods that were, to all the brotherhoods to be, to all the brotherhoods that are, my worship flows unceasingly. No refuge but the brotherhood. Refuge supreme is there for me. By the virtue of this truth, may grace abound and victory.
Just relax. Okay. Open your eyes. Take it easy. No screaming. Okay, so, like the yogi said, it's a process of balancing those energies, yeah? And bringing a balance into a system like this is difficult to bring up a yogi like that out of all these that are out there. Yeah, this is just one guy, one, yeah, out of all of India, yeah. The guy who does the pyramids, and he talks to extraterrestrials and tells everybody to be vegetarian or if not breatharian. Yeah, so he's not there. Yeah, and so there's just not really a level of initiates other than what should be. Yeah, because this is the incarnation of Babaji. So the person who should be very well aware of this sort of thing should be within the lineage of those who are of the lineage of Babaji. And this guy is. So there's not others walking around who received that lineage process, yeah, directly through the same lineage, yeah. So he's, I guess he's probably around the same age as me. Yeah, so we're both, trying to mush through this thing and, do this the best we can. But I'm involved in the process of straightening out the hierarchy as this being passed over to me. Yeah, because I keep saying, I'm going to, I take care of the Tibetan Buddhism, and I take care of all these things, all these teachers of India, all these monasteries of Tibet. There's something is in charge of those right now. Yeah, so that mantle is going to be passed over to me. Yeah, and that's what the transition is. That's been in the process, slowly but surely, passing that over, one point at a time. Yeah, where in his case, that's what he's, fully ready to help everybody to inspire to realize that this is what's going on inside the hierarchy. Yeah, these guys don't know how to do it. Yeah, it is messed up. They're not qualified in what they're doing. And this transition is coming out of a whole other life reality, moving into another dimension where the real hierarchy does exist. These are just actors in a charade, doing vibhuti and, buying Rolls Royces. Yeah, it's just one after another. Yeah. So, it's quite a process. Imagine that you're Hitler, you reincarnate and you come back as Michael Jackson and you're obsessed with being Peter Pan. Yeah. But who is Peter Pan? Yeah. Why don't you read the first book? Yeah. Wendy and Peter, or Peter and Wendy, something like that. It's not Peter Pan. Yeah. Yeah. And it's based on Peter, who is an incarnation of Pan. Pan is the devil. Yeah. Yeah. Pan is the devil. Yeah. Pan is the devil. And the devil is known for always staying a young child or young creature, yeah, that stays constantly forever and seduces everybody into the process of such things, delusionary things, things that cannot happen. But because Pan is the devil, controls elements so much, Pan is the only one who could do that. Yeah. So Michael Jackson decides, I want to be Peter Pan. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, here I am. Yeah. And then he makes a statue. Hitler, here I am. Yeah. And I'm also in Never Never Land. But if you read the book, he killed most of those children in the book of Peter Pan. He killed most of those men. He was an idiot, a crazy person, you know. If any of the disciple children who came under him did not have full faith that in him and attained the ability of immortality, he killed them. Yeah, because it was a disgrace for him. Yeah, it didn't represent his reality. And everybody had to stay a little kid. No growing up. Yeah? Control the whole thing. It didn't matter if he wanted to be 90 years old or 5 years old or 6 years old or be a regular human being or be half animal and half man, which is Pan. Yeah? So he's literally the bridge between the beast and the human. He's the beast. Yeah? And the beast wants to control the human, not to go through the life cycle of being a human. Yeah. So it controls that process by giving delusions and illusions and glamours of what you can suppose that you should be able to do. So now we have this fantasy world for all the children to think of. Yeah. Where we can go off into Never Never Land. Yeah. And we can go in fairy tale land. Fairy tales? Isn't that where Pan comes from? Yeah. Yeah. And we can become a princess or a queen, or we can be a queen looking for a prince. Who's got to be, I don't know, white, orange, you know, got to save your ass and got to do all these things. Yeah. You know, all this stuff is in the mind of intellect, projected upon you by Pan, by the elements. Yeah. Now I can help. I see it. Yeah. And you could see it too. Yeah? If I can be allowed to transmit. If I'm first, not second. If I'm second, then there's no me. And I am not a dictator. I'm not trying to be in charge. It's just the truth. Yeah? I see it. You need to see it. Well, then you need to kind of see it through me. Does that make sense? Yeah? Because I can lift you up and get you past all these demonic incarnations that are taking place on earth that's holding this thing into a horrible delusion of apocalypse. At any moment, an apocalypse. But yet at the same time, there's this wondrous, beautiful situation going on, and people are being saved and changing dramatically. Yeah? And that's really what needs to be inside the minds of people. Hope, faith, you know, all those things that come with virtues. Yeah? And it's not like you got to be the best person to do all these things. It comes from the grace that comes from me and transmission that gives you this energy that allows you to feel love. Yeah? And that's what you have faith in. Yeah? Does that make sense? Not a sixth-rate thing, yeah? But it's from being healed. Yeah? And not channeling. Because if you use your intellect, I promise you to God, you are an elemental of Pan's notion of the way this thing is. Notion. An intellectual notion. And you're going to battle it out with the Christ forever as to who's right in this thing. Yeah? It'll always be that way. Does that make sense? Yeah? So the Christ is, you know, waiting to be first. Yeah? To be able to transmit and have that go into the person, be received, and then released. Because whatever it is that's causing that person to be that person needs to go. And that's what I help get rid of. Yeah? It's an exorcism, but it's not about evil. It's about wrong relationship. This world is filled of it. Yeah? And I am, because there's so much wrong relationship, I'm included in that. Does that make sense? Yeah? I mean, you can think of me as Jesus. Well, you've got the wrong guy. You're thinking of the wrong terms. Yeah, you don't know me at all. Think of me as Krishna, you don't know me at all. You think of me as Shiva, you don't know me at all. Yeah? Yeah? It's that energy of the astral influence of thinking you know, yeah, that changes everything. Yeah? So there's a whole lot that I could teach that could be a revelation to everybody, but people already think they know it. Does that make sense? Yeah? So I have to wait until I can be first. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so enjoy.